I was refilling the charcuterie board at 11:47 p.m. on New Year's Eve, trying to be the perfect host, when my phone buzzed with a Ring camera motion alert from my home office, and there on the live feed in crystal clear 1080p was my wife, bent over my desk with her boss inside her, while 23 people downstairs counted down to midnight and my future disintegrated in real time. If you've got some time, maybe grab a drink and settle in, because what happened next turned me from the guy everyone called too nice for his own good into someone I barely recognize. And I'm still not sure if that transformation was worth it. So here's the question that kept me up for months afterward. If you watched your entire life collapse on a 6-inch screen, would you stay silent and walk away clean, or would you burn everything down and live with the ashes? I chose fire, and 3 weeks later, I made sure everyone, her family, her company, her boss's wife, and 200 people, in formal wear at a corporate awards dinner, watched her world explode the same way I'd watch mine. This is the story of how I caught my wife cheating, how I spent 3 weeks planning the most calculated revenge of my life, and how winning didn't feel anything like I thought it would. It's about Ring cameras and embezzlement and the exact moment you realize the person you married is a stranger. It's about becoming someone capable of cruelty and having to live with that person every day after. But let me start at the beginning, back when I still thought we were happy. I met Amanda Garcia in September 2016 at our mutual friend's wedding in Asheville. I was 26, teaching 3rd grade at Wilson Elementary in Charlotte, and she was 25, just promoted to pharmaceutical sales rep at Meridian Pharma. I saw her across the reception hall in this emerald green dress, and I swear to God, I forgot how to form sentences. She was laughing with the bridesmaids, confident and bright, and so far out of my league I almost didn't approach her. But I did. We spent the entire reception talking about everything, her frustrations with corporate politics, my stories about 8-year-olds who still believed in magic, the fact that we both thought the chicken was too dry, and the DJ's playlist was stuck in 2008. She told me later that she liked that I was different from the guys in her world. "You actually care about something bigger than money," she said. "That's rare." We dated for 2 years before I proposed. Those early years were good, really good. She'd come to my classroom after work and help me set up bulletin boards. I'd surprise her with flowers after tough sales calls. We'd split a bottle of cheap wine on Friday nights and talk about the future. Kids someday, maybe 2, a house with a yard, growing old together. Standard stuff, the stuff you're supposed to want. The cracks started so slowly I didn't notice them forming. Amanda got promoted to senior sales rep in 2020. Her income jumped from $65,000 to $90,000, then to $110,000, then to $140,000 by 2023. Meanwhile, I went from $45,000 to $48,000 over the same period. Every year the gap widened, and every year Amanda's comments got a little sharper. "Chris, you're a wonderful teacher, but let's be real. You're never going to make real money, and that's fine, but don't act like my ambition is a character flaw." She said it during an argument about whether we could afford a vacation to Europe. I'd suggested we wait a year, save more. She'd rolled her eyes and booked it anyway on her credit card. 2 weeks in Italy. It was beautiful. I felt guilty the entire time. The house came in 2022. Amanda found this gorgeous place in South Charlotte. 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, finished basement, big yard, $385,000. I looked at our finances and felt my stomach drop. "Amanda, I don't know if we can swing this mortgage." "I've got it covered, babe," she said, squeezing my hand. "This is our investment, our future." So we bought it, and I renovated the basement myself over 6 months, turned it into my man cave/office. Gaming PC, desk from IKEA, shelves for my books, walls painted this deep blue I loved. It was the only space in the house that felt like mine. Amanda handled everything else, hired an interior designer, picked furniture I couldn't pronounce the names of, hung art I didn't understand. Every time I suggested something, She'd smile and say, "Let me handle the aesthetics, babe. You focus on your lesson plans." Looking back, I was already losing territory. I just called it compromise. The kid conversation started in 2023. I was 32, she was 31, and I kept thinking we should start trying. Every time I brought it up, Amanda had a reason to wait. Let's wait until we're more stable. After my next bonus clears, when you're making more, maybe. I don't want to be the only one supporting a family, Chris. That's not fair to me. That last one gutted me. I remember standing in our kitchen, looking at her across the marble island she'd picked out, and feeling this wave of shame. Like my entire career, helping kids learn to read, teaching them kindness, watching them grow, was somehow less important because the paycheck was smaller. But I didn't fight. I never fought. I just said, "You're right, we should wait," and pushed the ache down deeper. I was the nice guy. I kept the peace. I made everyone comfortable. That's what nice guys do, right? They finish last. Amanda said that to me once, during another money argument I can't even remember the details of now. We were getting ready for bed, and I'd made some comment about being content with what we had, and she laughed. Not meanly, just matter of fact, and said, "Chris, you know what they say. Nice guys always finish last." Then she kissed my forehead like I was a child and went to brush her teeth. I should have seen it then, but I didn't. Or I did, and I told myself I was overreacting. The final months before everything imploded were full of red flags I cataloged but didn't act on. Starting in October 2024, Amanda's work trips increased. 2, sometimes 3 nights a month, always vague about which city, which hotel. "It's a boring sales conference, babe. You'd hate it." Her wardrobe changed. Designer labels, expensive lingerie I never saw her wear, perfume that smelled different, Chanel No. 5 instead of her usual Marc Jacobs. She changed her phone passcode, started taking calls in the bathroom with the shower running. Our sex life, which had never been fireworks but had been steady, dropped to maybe once a month. And she was always tired, always not in the mood, always scrolling through her phone with this little smile I didn't recognize. My friend Kyle noticed at Thanksgiving. We hosted, and Amanda worked the room like a politician while I carved the turkey. After she went upstairs to take a call, Kyle pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Dude, is everything okay with Amanda?" "Yeah, why?" "I don't know, man. She just seems different, distant. You seem tired." "I'm fine. We're fine." Kyle looked at me like he wanted to say more, but my mom called us back for dessert, and the moment passed. I told myself he was imagining things. I told myself a lot of things that turned out to be lies. The Ring cameras were Amanda's idea. Early December, she came home from work and said, "We need better home security. Did you see the next door posts about package thieves?" I hadn't, but I pulled up the app and sure enough there were reports. So I ordered a Ring doorbell and 3 indoor cameras, front door, backyard, garage, and one for my office. I was paranoid about someone stealing my gaming PC. It cost $2,000 and I'd saved for it across 2 years. I installed them on December 15th, synced them to my phone, tested the motion alerts, showed Amanda how to check the app. She seemed pleased. "Good idea," she said. "Now we can keep an eye on things when we're not home." The irony of that statement would keep me up at night for months. December 22nd. I was at work during my planning period when my phone buzzed. Ring camera, office, motion detected. I opened the app expecting maybe the cat, except we don't have a cat, and instead saw Amanda. It was 2:47 p.m. She should have been at a client meeting in Raleigh. But there she was, letting herself into my office with her key, and she wasn't alone. A man followed her in, tall, graying at the temples, wearing a suit. They were laughing about something. I watched as Amanda shut the door, and then I watched as this man pressed her against my bookshelf and kissed her. I watched as she pulled him toward my desk. I watched until I couldn't anymore, and closed the app so fast I almost dropped my phone. I sat there in my empty classroom, third graders at lunch, and felt the floor tilt. Then I told myself I'd misunderstood. Maybe it was a colleague. Maybe it was innocent. Maybe there was an explanation. I checked the footage history. December 8th, 11:34 p.m. December 15th, 1:22 a.m. December 20th, 10:17 p.m. Always my office. Always late, or when I was at work. The app only stored the last 7 days, but these 3 clips alone added up to over 4 hours. I didn't confront her. I saved the videos to Dropbox, and I went home that night and acted completely normal, while my brain screamed. Amanda was chipper at dinner. "How was your day, babe?" "Good. Kids are excited for winter break." "How was Raleigh?" "Long. Traffic was terrible coming back." She didn't blink, didn't hesitate, just lied to my face and asked if I wanted more pasta. I wanted more everything, more truth, more respect, more of a reason to stay. But I smiled and said, "I'm good, thanks," and did the dishes while she scrolled through her phone on the couch, texting someone who made her smile the way she used to smile at me. The New Year's Eve party was Amanda's idea, too. "Let's do it big this year," she said in late December. "Invite everyone, I'll handle the planning." By everyone, she meant 25 people, our friend group, her co-workers, some neighbors. By I'll handle the planning, she meant she hired a catering company for $800, bought a new bar cart for $400, paid for professional cleaning, and ordered $100 worth of decorations from Target. I didn't argue about the cost, even though it felt insane. I was too busy checking Ring camera footage every day, collecting evidence like a man possessed. December 23rd, nothing. December 26th, them again. 9:45 p.m., while I was at Kyle's watching the game. December 28th, them again. This time I made myself watch the whole thing. I needed to know. The man's name was Bradley. I figured that out by listening to the audio. Amanda moaned it twice. I Googled Bradley Meridian Pharma Charlotte and found him in seconds. Bradley Turner, Regional Sales Director, 41 years old, married, 2 kids, Amanda's boss, her boss. She was fucking her married boss in my office, in the house we bought together, on the desk where I graded papers and planned lessons and tried to build a life. I could have confronted her Christmas week, could have ended it quietly. But something in me shifted. Maybe it was the lies. Maybe it was the theft. I started checking our bank accounts and found $23,000 missing, withdrawn in small chunks over 6 months, traced to a company called AG Holdings LLC that didn't exist. Maybe it was the texts I found on her old iPad. She forgot she'd signed into iCloud on. Texts with Bradley going back to July. Bradley, you deserve so much better than a teacher. Amanda, I know I'm tired of being the responsible one. Bradley, after Q4 bonus clears, we'll get our place, I promise. Amanda, I can't wait. Chris is sweet, but he'll never be enough. Never be enough. I read that line 50 times. Each time it carved deeper. The nice guy would have walked away, filed for divorce, moved on. But I wasn't the nice guy anymore. That version of me died somewhere between watching my wife betray me in real time and reading the words, "never be enough." What replaced him was someone colder. Someone who understood that being kind had made me a target. So I didn't confront her. I started planning. The party arrived, December 31st, 2024. Amanda spent the morning decorating, singing along to Spotify, excited in a way I hadn't seen in months. She wore this red dress, backless, tight, $400 according to the credit card statement I'd already forensically examined. I knew Bradley bought it for her. Receipt in her email. "Thanks, baby. Can't wait to see you in this." Guests started arriving at 9. I played host, taking coats, mixing drinks, laughing at jokes, pretending everything was fine. Amanda worked the room, especially charming with her co-workers. Bradley arrived at 10:15 with his wife, Catherine. I'd looked her up too. Corporate attorney, specializing in family law. They looked tense. He tried to kiss her cheek. She turned slightly, so he got mostly air. I filed that detail away. Amanda barely acknowledged Bradley in public. Too careful. But I saw the glances. The way she touched her hair when he was nearby. The way he watched her move through the room. At 11:30, I was in the kitchen prepping champagne for the midnight toast, counting bottles, arranging glasses, being the perfect host. When I looked up, Amanda wasn't in the living room. Neither was Bradley. Catherine stood alone by the fireplace, staring at her phone with an expression I couldn't read. 11:47 p.m. My phone buzzed. Ring camera, office, motion detected. I should have ignored it. Should have let it go. But my hands were already opening the app before my brain caught up. The feed loaded. And there they were. Amanda's red dress hiked up, Bradley behind her, my desk, my space, my awards on the wall watching. The audio connected. I'd forgotten I had sound on, and I heard her moan, heard him say, "God, I've wanted you all night." Heard her say, "I love you too, I love you too." She hadn't said that to me in 8 months. I stood in the kitchen, champagne flute in one hand, phone in the other, watching my marriage end in 1080p while 23 people laughed and celebrated 15 feet away. My hands were shaking. The champagne sloshed. Someone asked if I needed help with the bottles, and I said, "No, I've got it." My voice steady like I practiced in parent-teacher conferences when I wanted to scream. I saved the video, took screenshots, sent everything to my email, my Dropbox, Kyle's email with the subject line, "Urgent, don't open until I say so." Then I closed the app, picked up the champagne tray, and walked back into the party with a smile that felt like broken glass. 11:53 p.m. Amanda reappeared from the hallway, adjusting her dress, hair slightly messed. She caught my eye and winked like we were in on some joke together. Bradley came down 30 seconds later from the bathroom, straightening his tie. 11:56 p.m. Everyone gathered in the living room for the countdown. I stood next to Amanda, holding champagne I wouldn't drink, surrounded by people toasting to new beginnings while mine was ending. Catherine was across the room, still staring at her phone. Our eyes met for half a second. Something passed between us. Recognition, maybe. Shared misery. The countdown started. 10, 9, 8. Amanda slipped her hand into mine, squeezed. I looked at her face. She was glowing, happy, guilty, free. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Everyone cheered, kissed, hugged. Amanda kissed my cheek, not my lips, and whispered, "Love you. Happy New Year." I wanted to say, "You told him that 20 minutes ago." Instead, I said, "You too," and wondered if this was what drowning felt like. Catherine approached me near the kitchen around 12:05. Got close, spoke quietly. "Nice party. Hope your new year is enlightening." Then she handed me her business card. Catherine Turner, family law attorney. Call me if you ever need legal advice. She walked away before I could ask what she meant. But I knew. Somehow she knew. The party wound down. Guests left in waves, 12:30, 1:15. Amanda hugged everyone, played the perfect hostess, thanked them for coming. The last person left at 1:30 a.m. Amanda immediately headed upstairs. "I'm exhausted. You'll clean up, right, babe?" "Yeah, I've got it." She was asleep, or pretending to be, by the time I finished loading the dishwasher at 2:10 a.m. I sat on the couch in our living room, surrounded by empty glasses and confetti and the ruins of my life, and replayed that video 5 more times. Not because I wanted to, because I needed to let the rage settle into something useful. I had a choice. Walk away quietly, file for divorce, be the bigger person, let her move on with Bradley and whatever life they were planning, or I could make sure she understood exactly what she'd taken from me. Make sure everyone understood. The nice guy would have chosen option 1, but the nice guy was gone. Someone else was sitting on that couch at 2 a.m. Someone cold and calculating and capable of patience. Someone who understood that revenge isn't a moment, it's architecture. I chose option 2, and I've spent every day since wondering if that makes me a monster or just human. New Year's Day. Amanda slept until noon. I let her rest. I stayed up all night. I went through every Ring camera clip from the past 3 weeks. Found 4 additional instances. December 8th, 15th, 22nd, 28th. Each time, late night or mid-afternoon when I was at work. Each session lasted between 45 minutes and 2 hours. In the December 22nd footage, I watched them laugh about my teaching awards. "He's so proud of his little certificates," Amanda said, running her finger along the frames on my wall. Bradley kissed her neck. "You deserve someone who's actually accomplished something." I replayed that part 3 times. Let it fuel what came next. January 2nd, Amanda took a shower, left her phone on the nightstand. I knew her passcode. She'd changed it, but I'd watched her type it enough times over her shoulder. Opened her messages with Bradley. Everything was deleted, but I remembered her old iPad in the hall closet, the one she forgot she'd logged into iCloud on 2 years ago. Found it. Restored her messages. Months of texts appeared. The affair started in July 2024 at a company retreat in Hilton Head. Bradley had been pursuing her for months before that. Compliments about her sales numbers, lunch meetings that went long, texts about leadership potential. The retreat was where it turned physical. They shared a bottle of wine on the beach after the team dinner. He told her she was wasted on someone with no ambition. She told him she'd been feeling invisible for years. They slept together that night, and approximately 40 times since, based on the texts I read until my eyes burned. Bradley's promises. "I'm leaving Catherine after Q4 bonus clears. We'll get a place together, just us. You deserve better than a teacher who can't afford your lifestyle." Amanda's responses. "I'm tired of being the responsible one. Chris is sweet, but he'll never be enough. I can't wait to start our real life. Our real life, as opposed to the fake one she was living with me." I took screenshots of everything. Then I moved to the finances. Joint checking account. I pulled 6 months of statements. Found a pattern. Small withdrawals, $200 to $500 each. Always on Fridays, always labeled cash or ATM. FUDA totaled $23,000. I tracked the pattern to Venmo payments to AG Holdings LLC. I Googled the company. Didn't exist. So I searched the address associated with the payments. An apartment building in Uptown Charlotte. Luxury complex. I called the leasing office, pretended to be a potential tenant, asked if they had any 1-bedrooms available. "We have a few. Let me check. We do have 1 resident potentially breaking their lease early. Unit 412 if you're interested. Currently occupied by an Amanda Garcia and her roommate. Move-out date might be March 1st. Amanda Garcia, her maiden name. The name she'd been slowly reclaiming. I thanked them and hung up. Drove there that afternoon. Told Amanda I was meeting Kyle for lunch. Sat in the parking lot and looked up at the building. 4th floor, Unit 12. I could see furniture through the window. A couch I didn't recognize, a wine rack, a king-sized bed. The life they were building while I graded spelling tests and wondered why my wife didn't love me anymore. I sat in my car and cried for the first time since New Year's Eve. Not sad crying, rage crying, the kind that makes your chest hurt and your vision blur and your hands shake on the steering wheel. I cried for 20 minutes, then dried my face and drove home to kiss my wife hello when she got back from her Saturday errands. January 6th. I texted Catherine's number, me. "We should talk." She called within an hour. "Christopher, I assume." "Yeah, how did you know?" "Because I've known about Bradley and your wife since November, and I saw your face at midnight on New Year's Eve when you looked at your phone. You found out that night, didn't you? How long have you known that it was Amanda specifically? About 3 weeks. That Bradley was cheating in general. 6 months. I hired a private investigator in August. He's good, very thorough. Why didn't you confront him? Because I wanted evidence for the divorce. North Carolina is a fault state. Adultery affects everything. Alimony, asset division, custody. I'm a lawyer, Christopher. I don't make emotional decisions. I make strategic ones. I liked her immediately. Why did you give me your card? Because I thought you might need a friend or an ally, and because I've been planning to file in February, and I thought you might want to coordinate. Coordinate how? Make it hurt more. I met her at a coffee shop 2 days later. We both brought evidence folders. Hers was thicker. Her PI had been following Bradley since November. Photos of him and Amanda at restaurants, hotels, walking into her apartment, kissing in parking garages. Receipts for gifts. The red dress, a necklace, earrings, weekend trips. Expense reports from Meridian Pharma showing Bradley charged $8,400 in client dinners that were actually dates with Amanda. Catherine slid a photo across the table. Bradley and Amanda leaving her apartment building December 18th. His hand on her lower back. He gave her a key to the apartment in September, Catherine said. Signed the lease with her. Used our joint account to pay the first 3 months' rent before I caught it and froze his access. Jesus Christ. Yeah. She sipped her coffee. So, do you want to just file and move on, or do you want to make them regret every single choice they've made? I thought about the nice guy I used to be. The one who avoided conflict, who forgave easily, who believed being kind was its own reward. That guy would have said, let's just file quietly. But that guy wasn't sitting in this coffee shop. Someone else was. I want them to regret everything. Catherine smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who'd spent 6 months watching her husband destroy their family and had finally found a co-conspirator. Good, because Meridian Pharma is hosting their annual awards dinner January 25th. Black tie event, 200 people. Bradley's receiving Regional Director of the Year, and I think we should make it memorable. We spent 3 hours planning. Catherine's PI had enough evidence to bury Bradley professionally. Supervisor-subordinate relationship, explicitly prohibited in Meridian's ethics policy. Expense fraud, using company time and resources for personal affairs. Combined with my ring footage and financial evidence, we had enough to destroy both their careers, their reputations, and any chance of a clean exit. The plan was elegant, simple, devastating. Catherine had a contact in Meridian's IT department. Someone Bradley had screwed over in a promotion decision 2 years ago. He'd help us. The presentation laptop for the awards ceremony would have a technical difficulty. Someone would offer a backup USB. That USB would contain a 3-minute video, ring footage, texts, PI photos, apartment lease, expense reports, all set to romantic music, unchained melody. I picked it for the irony. Won't this ruin us too? I asked. Professionally, I mean, socially. Christopher, they already ruined us. This just makes sure everyone knows who did it. I met with a divorce attorney the next day. Sharon Reeves, Catherine's referral. Aggressive, expensive, exactly what I needed. She reviewed my evidence and whistled low. This is a slam dunk. Adultery, financial fraud, you'll get everything. The house, the savings, probably damages. North Carolina doesn't mess around with fault-based divorce. I want to wait to file. Until after the awards dinner. Ballsy. I like it. But you're sure? Because once this goes public, it's going to get ugly. It's already ugly. I just want everyone to see it. The next 2 weeks were surreal. I came home every day to Amanda, kissed her hello, asked about her day, made dinner, watched TV, went to bed next to someone I didn't recognize. She suspected nothing. Why would she? I was the nice guy. I kept the peace. I made everyone comfortable. On January 18th, Kyle found me in my classroom after school. I looked rough, sleeping 3 hours a night, losing weight, running on coffee and rage. "Dude, what's going on? And don't say nothing." I couldn't tell him everything, but I told him enough. I found out Amanda's cheating with her boss. I'm planning something big for her company's awards dinner next week. Kyle's face went through several emotions: shock, anger, concern. "Chris, are you sure? This doesn't sound like you. It's not me, not the old me, but maybe that guy needed to change. Just be careful, okay? Revenge isn't always what you think it'll be." I know. I didn't know. Not really, but I would. Amanda complained about the awards dinner all week. Bradley's getting the big award, which means I have to sit there and clap like I care. So boring, but I have to go, obviously. "I'll come with you," I said, over dinner on January 20th. She looked surprised. "Really? You hate these things. New year, new me. I want to be more involved in your success." She smiled, actually smiled, and reached across the table to squeeze my hand. "You're the best, babe. Seriously." I felt nothing. Not love, not hate. Just cold determination. January 25th arrived. I spent the day teaching like normal, came home, showered, put on my best suit. Amanda was in the bedroom, doing her makeup, wearing the red dress from New Year's Eve, the one Bradley bought her. "You look beautiful," I said, because she did, and because I wanted her to feel confident, unsuspecting. "Thanks, babe. You look handsome too. You should dress up more often." We drove to the convention center. Amanda drank champagne in the passenger seat. "Pre-gaming," she laughed, and talked about who would be there, which colleagues annoyed her, how long the speeches would be. I drove and thought about the USB drive in my pocket. 3 minutes and 47 seconds, that would change everything. As we pulled into the parking lot, Amanda flipped down the visor mirror, checking her lipstick, practicing her surprised face for when Bradley won his award. She had no idea, no clue, and I felt a spike of something dark and satisfying and terrible. "Ready?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Tonight's going to be unforgettable." She laughed and grabbed her clutch and headed toward the entrance, and I followed her into the building, knowing that in 6 hours her entire world would be ash. I should have felt guilty, conflicted, something, but all I felt was ready. The convention center ballroom was exactly what you'd expect. 200 people in formal wear, corporate branding everywhere, round tables with centerpieces, a stage with a podium and massive screen. Amanda and I checked in, got our table assignment. She was seated with her sales team near the front. I was at the spouse table in the back, other husbands and wives who didn't work for Meridian, making polite small talk about weather and traffic. I spotted Catherine immediately. Head table, near the stage, in the spouse section reserved for executives' families. She wore a black dress, hair pulled back, expression neutral. Our eyes met across the room. She nodded once. "We're on." Bradley worked the room like a politician. Handshakes, backslaps, laughing at jokes, hand on Amanda's shoulder a beat too long when he stopped by her table. I watched her light up when he whispered something in her ear. Watched her blush and look down and smile that secret smile I used to think was for me. Dinner service started at 7. Salmon or chicken, roasted vegetables, bread rolls, wine that tasted like liquid cardboard. I sat with a woman named Diane, whose husband was in IT, and a man named Robert, whose wife ran HR. They asked what I did. "Fourth grade teacher." "Oh, how wonderful," Diane said, in that tone people use when they mean how quaint. "Yeah, I love it. And your wife is Amanda Garcia, sales team. She's fantastic. So impressive. You must be so proud. She's really something special." The words tasted like ash. At 7:45, Amanda and Bradley both disappeared. Amanda said something to her table, probably bathroom. and Bradley did the same 30 seconds later. They were gone for 12 minutes. I tracked it. When they came back separately, Amanda's lipstick was slightly smudged. She fixed it at the table with her compact, grinning at something on her phone. The woman next to me noticed me watching. "Your wife is beautiful." "Yeah, she is." What I didn't say, she's also fucking her boss in a bathroom while I sit here planning the destruction of both their lives. But that seemed like poor dinner conversation. The awards ceremony started at 8:20. Patricia Donovan, the CEO, took the stage. Mid-50s, sharp, the kind of woman who could fire you with a smile. She went through the smaller awards first. Sales Rep of the Year, Customer Service Excellence, Innovation Award. Each winner got applause, a trophy, 30 seconds at the mic. Then came the big one. "And now," Patricia said, "for our most prestigious honor. The Regional Director of the Year Award recognizes exceptional leadership, outstanding sales performance, and embodiment of Meridian's core values." A video started playing, clips of Bradley at conferences, team meetings, shaking hands with clients, photos of him with his team, with Patricia, with his family, Catherine and the kids smiling for the camera in some staged photo shoot from years ago when they still pretended to be happy. Amanda was clapping enthusiastically. I could see her eyes getting wet, crying for him, for his success, for their future. "Please join me in congratulating our Regional Director of the Year, Bradley Turner." The room exploded in applause. Bradley stood, buttoned his jacket, walked to the stage, shook Patricia's hand, accepted the trophy. He stepped to the microphone, grinning. "Wow, thank you so much. This is truly an honor." His voice boomed through the speakers, confident, entitled. "I couldn't have done this without my incredible team. We've had an amazing year, and it's because of people like Amanda Garcia, who consistently goes above and beyond." He looked right at her. She beamed. "And of course, my beautiful wife, Catherine, who supports me through the late nights and the travel and everything this job demands." Catherine stared straight ahead, jaw tight, hands folded in her lap. "I'm so grateful to be part of the Meridian family. Here's to an even better year ahead." More applause. Bradley raised the trophy. Patricia stepped back to the podium. "Now, let's take a look at Bradley's achievements by the numbers." A slide appeared on the screen. Sales figures, growth percentages, client acquisitions. But then the screen went black. Confused murmurs. Patricia frowned. Someone from the tech booth called out, "We're having technical difficulties with the laptop. Just one moment." I stood up, walked toward the tech booth like I'd practiced in my head 50 times. Calm, helpful, just a concerned spouse trying to fix a problem. "Hey, I was filming some stuff earlier on my phone, synced it to a USB drive. I might have compatible software if that helps." The tech guy, Jerry, according to his name tag, the one Catherine had mentioned, looked at me, recognized me, nodded. "Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks, man." I handed him the USB drive. He plugged it in. "Should be good now," he said, and hit play. The screen flickered. A title slide appeared. "The Real Bradley Turner." Music started. Unchained melody. Slow, romantic, deeply ironic. The first image hit the screen. Ring camera footage. Timestamp, December 31st, 2024, 11:48 p.m. Clear as day. Amanda bent over a desk, red dress hiked up, Bradley behind her, both their faces visible. The room went silent. Then someone gasped. Then someone else said, "Oh my God!" The slideshow continued. Text messages zoomed in, readable from every corner of the ballroom. Bradley, "You deserve so much better than a teacher." Amanda, "Chris is sweet, but he'll never be enough." Bradley, "After Q4 bonus, we'll get our own place." Then photos from Catherine's PI. Bradley and Amanda entering an apartment building, his arm around her, kissing in a parking garage, walking out of a hotel together. Then the apartment lease, both their names. Address in Uptown Charlotte, then expense reports. Bradley's corporate card charges highlighted. Client dinner, $340. Next to a photo of Bradley and Amanda at a romantic restaurant, candles on the table, holding hands. The final slide appeared. White text on black background. Bradley Turner, Regional Director and Serial Adulterer. Amanda Garcia, Homewrecker and Embezzler. Enjoy your awards. Total runtime, 2 minutes, 47 seconds. The ballroom erupted. Chairs scraped. People shouted. Someone screamed. Patricia stood frozen at the podium, mouth open. Bradley rushed toward the tech booth, yelling, "Turn it off! Turn it off now!" Amanda was on her feet, face white, hands over her mouth, staring at the screen like she could will it away through sheer force of denial. I stood near the back, watching. People turned to look at me, then at Catherine, then back at the screen, which Jerry had frozen on the final slide. Amanda spotted me. She pushed through her table, stumbled in her heels, ran toward me. "What did you do? What the fuck did you do?" Her voice cracked, mascara already running, the entire ballroom watching. I kept my voice calm, steady. I gave them the truth, that's all. "You psycho! You humiliated me. No, Amanda, you humiliated yourself. I just made sure everyone knew." She lunged at me. Someone caught her, one of her co-workers holding her back. She was sobbing now, screaming incoherently, completely unraveling. Bradley made it to the tech booth, grabbed Jerry by the collar. "Who the fuck authorized this?" Patricia's voice cut through the chaos, amplified by the microphone. "Bradley, step away from my employee. Now." He let go, turned to face her. 200 people watching. "Patricia, I can explain. I don't want explanations. I want you out of this building. Immediately." Catherine stood. Everyone turned to watch. She walked across the ballroom, heels clicking on the tile, until she stood directly in front of Bradley. Reached into her clutch, pulled out an envelope. "Bradley," she said, voice clear and cold. "You're being served." She handed him divorce papers. In front of everyone. He stared at her. "Catherine, not here, please." "Yes, here. Where your colleagues can see what you really are. Where your Regional Director of the Year award means nothing. Where everyone knows you're a liar and a fraud." A process server appeared from the hallway, Catherine's PI, I realized, and walked to Amanda's table. Amanda Garcia. She nodded, still crying. "You're being served." He handed her divorce papers, too. Amanda looked at me, at the papers, at the room. "You planned this with her? You worked together?" "Yeah," I said. "Turns out your boyfriend's wife is smarter than both of you." Security arrived. 2 guards in blazers, looking uncomfortable. Patricia spoke to them, gestured toward the doors. They approached Bradley and Amanda. "Ma'am, sir, we need you to come with us. I'm not going anywhere until—" Bradley started. "You're leaving. Now, or I'm calling the police." Patricia's voice left no room for argument. They were escorted out. Amanda sobbing, Bradley yelling something about lawsuits. The ballroom stayed silent until the doors closed behind them. Then the whispers started. Phones came out. People recording, texting, calling friends who weren't there. Patricia returned to the microphone, looked rattled but composed. "Ladies and gentlemen, this event is concluded. Management will address this situation Monday morning. Thank you for your attendance." People filed out slowly, staring, whispering. I saw them pointing at me, at Catherine. Some looked sympathetic, others looked horrified. I didn't care. Catherine met me in the lobby. We stood apart from the crowd. That felt, she paused. Good. Too good maybe. Yeah. Any regrets? Ask me tomorrow. She smiled slightly. Fair. My lawyer's filing everything Monday morning. Yours? Same. Bradley's going to lose his mind. Good. We stood there another moment. Two people who just burned down 4 lives. Then Catherine left, and I walked to my car, sat in the driver's seat, and stared at the steering wheel. My phone lit up. 47 missed calls from Amanda. 13 texts. How could you? You ruined my life. Everyone saw. I hate you. Please call me, we can fix this. Chris, please. I blocked her number. Called Sharon. It's done. File everything tomorrow. Christ, Christopher. You actually did it. Yeah. How do you feel? I thought about that. Really thought. Empty. That's normal. Get some sleep. I'll call you Monday. I drove to Kyle's place. He'd offered to let me stay the weekend. Opened the door, took one look at me and said, "Dude, it's done. The dinner." "Yeah, how bad?" "Nuclear." He pulled me into a hug. I stood there, stiff, until he let go. "Beer?" "Yeah." We sat on his couch. I told him what happened. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he was quiet for a long time. "So, you won." "Did I?" "You exposed them. Got your revenge. They're done." "Yeah, but you don't feel good." "I feel like I should. I planned this for 3 weeks. I executed it perfectly. They deserved it. So why do I feel like I lost something I can't get back?" Kyle didn't have an answer. Neither did I. I slept on his couch that night. 3 hours, full of dreams about red dresses and ring cameras and ballrooms full of people staring. When I woke up at 2 a.m., I couldn't fall back asleep. Just lay there staring at the ceiling, replaying Amanda's face when she saw the screen. The horror, the humiliation, the complete destruction of everything she'd built. I'd wanted her to feel what I felt on New Year's Eve. Mission accomplished. So why did I feel like I'd destroyed myself too? The fallout was immediate and brutal. Sharon filed divorce papers January 26th at 8 a.m. By noon, I had a temporary restraining order on our joint accounts. Amanda had $1,200 in personal savings. That was it. Her family found out within hours. I'd sent her father an email the night before with an edited evidence folder. Enough to show what happened. Not so much that it was pornographic. He called her that morning. I know because she texted me before I blocked her. My father disowned me. He called me una vergüenza. Are you happy now? Her father was a traditional Catholic from Raleigh. Old school. The kind who believed marriage was sacred and infidelity was unforgivable. Her mother tried to stay neutral at first, but ultimately chose her husband's side. Family dinners, holidays, the safety net Amanda had always taken for granted. Gone. Her brother texted me on January 27th. I don't know what to say except I'm sorry. You didn't deserve this. Amanda made her choice. Then he blocked her on everything. Told their mutual friends he couldn't support what she'd done to a good man. The friend group imploded. Amanda had been the social organizer, girls' nights, couples' dinners, weekend trips. Within a week, every single one of those friends reached out to me, asked for my side of the story. I sent them the same edited evidence folder. One by one, they chose me. Jenna, Amanda's best friend since college, sent a long text. Chris, I'm so sorry, I had no idea. She talked about you like you were this weight around her neck, but I thought she was just stressed about work. I didn't know she was... God, I don't even have words. I told her we can't be friends anymore. What she did is unforgivable. Amanda went from 15 to 20 social plans a month to 0. Her Instagram, which had been curated perfection, went dark. Her last post was from New Year's Eve. Her in the red dress, caption, starting the year right. The comments were brutal. I didn't look, but Kyle told me. People called her every name you can imagine. Someone posted a link to a local news article about the awards dinner incident. Another person tagged Bradley's wife. It became a spectacle. Bradley's family destruction was worse. Catherine told me over coffee 2 weeks later. She'd told their kids an age-appropriate version. Dad made choices that hurt our family. The kids were 12 and 10, old enough to understand betrayal, even if they didn't know details. Bradley's mother, a devout Baptist, called him a disappointment, sided with Catherine completely. His brother tried to defend him initially but stopped after Catherine showed him the evidence. Their community church, where Bradley had been a deacon, removed him from all leadership positions. Quietly but firmly. The kids refused to see him. Supervised visitation only, per court order. I felt bad about that until Catherine said, "He did this to them, not us." Career destruction came next. Meridian Pharma launched an internal investigation. January 29th. HR, Legal, Ethics Committee. They had to. The dinner video had leaked. Someone posted it on Facebook before it got taken down, but by then it had been shared hundreds of times. The company had to show they took workplace ethics seriously. Findings confirmed everything. Supervisor-subordinate relationship, explicit policy violation, expense fraud, $8,400 documented, misuse of company time and resources. February 5th, Meridian released a statement. Bradley Turner and Amanda Garcia are no longer employed by Meridian Pharma, effective immediately. Both were terminated for cause following ethics violations. No severance, no references. Non-compete clauses enforced. Amanda's pipeline commission, $42,000 she'd been counting on, forfeited. Pharmaceutical sales is a small world in Charlotte. Everyone knows everyone. Within a week, Amanda applied to 12 competitors. All rejected her. A recruiter told her off the record, "You're unhireable in this market. Everyone knows what happened." Bradley had it worse. He applied for VP roles at 3 companies. All 3 rescinded offers after reference checks. He ended up taking a job selling cars. Went from $195,000 a year to $51,000. Amanda found work at Target. Retail management, $32,000 a year. The apartment lease in Uptown, she couldn't afford it. Broke the lease, paid a $6,300 penalty, using money she borrowed from a college roommate, moved into that roommate's spare bedroom. Started selling her designer clothes on Facebook Marketplace and Poshmark to cover rent. I watched all of this happen from a distance. Sharon kept me updated. Catherine did too. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I felt hollow. The psychological damage was harder to quantify, but impossible to miss. February 2nd, Amanda showed up at Wilson Elementary. I was walking to my car after school, carrying a box of worksheets to grade over the weekend. She was waiting by my Honda, looking like she hadn't slept in days, disheveled, sweatpants and an old college hoodie, hair greasy, no makeup, eyes red and swollen. "Chris, please, I need to talk to you." "We have nothing to talk about. Please, I'm begging you. I made a mistake. I know that now. We can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can—" "Amanda, there's nothing to fix. You chose Bradley. You stole from me. You planned to leave me. Live with it." Her voice broke. "I lost everything. My job, my family, my friends. You win, okay? Are you happy?" "No, I'm not happy, but I'm done." She collapsed, just dropped to her knees in the parking lot, sobbing so hard she was shaking. Other teachers were coming out of the building, staring. Mrs. Patterson, who taught 6th grade, looked concerned, pulled out her phone. "Amanda, you need to leave." She looked up at me. Mascara streaked down her face, snot running from her nose, completely broken. "I have nothing left. Do you understand? Nothing. You did this, not me." She started hyperventilating. Mrs. Patterson called 911. Campus security came. Police arrived. They took Amanda for a psychiatric evaluation. Voluntary, but they strongly suggested it. She was diagnosed with acute stress reaction and panic disorder, put on medication, recommended intensive therapy. I drove home shaking. Called Dr. Martinez, my therapist, and asked for an emergency session. "Did I do that?" I asked her. "Did I break her?" "Christopher, you exposed her actions. You didn't cause them." She made every choice that led to that parking lot. But I made it public. I destroyed her career, her family, everything. And she destroyed your marriage. She stole from you. She planned to abandon you. Would you rather have stayed silent? I don't know. That was the truth. I didn't know. Bradley spiraled too. Catherine showed me texts he'd sent before she blocked him. First threats. You'll pay for this, I'll fucking end you. Then desperation. Please, I have kids, talk to Catherine, fix this somehow. He lost custody. Supervised visits only. Catherine documented his instability. The drinking, the erratic behavior, the DUI he got February 8th while driving drunk after a particularly bad day. That became public record. Another nail. He moved into a studio apartment. No furniture. Just a mattress on the floor and a TV. Catherine heard through mutual friends that he was severely depressed. Part of me felt bad. A very small part. February 12th, my friends staged an intervention. Kyle, Sarah, and Mike came over unannounced, brought beer and pizza, sat me down in my living room. Dude, Kyle started, we need to talk about this. About what? About you, about Amanda, about what's happening. Sarah leaned forward. Chris, we love you. You're our friend, and what Amanda did was awful. But are you okay because this is getting dark? What's getting dark? You nuked their entire lives, Mike said. Amanda had a panic attack in your school parking lot. Bradley got a DUI. They're both broke and unemployed and completely destroyed. And I know they cheated. I know they deserve consequences, but is this what you wanted? They did this to themselves. Did they? Sarah's voice was gentle but firm. Or did you make it so much worse? You didn't just leave. You exposed them to hundreds of people. You coordinated with Catherine. You planned it for weeks. That's not self-defense, Chris. I don't even know what that is. It's justice. Is it? Because you look fucking miserable. I didn't have a response. Because she was right. Kyle put his hand on my shoulder. I'm worried about you. You used to be the guy who forgave everyone, who avoided conflict, who kept peace. Now you're the guy who executed a surgical takedown of 2 people's lives. And I get why. I do. But I'm worried about what happens to you after. I'm fine. You're not fine. You've lost 15 pounds. You look like you haven't slept in a month, and you're still obsessing over this. I'm not obsessing. You check ring footage every day. He was right about that too. They stayed for 3 hours, talked, listened. Didn't judge exactly, but didn't let me off the hook either. When they left, Mike hugged me at the door. We're here for you, man, whatever you need, but please, let it go, for your own sake. I wanted to. God, I wanted to. February 14th, Valentine's Day. Cruelly appropriate timing for what happened next. I saw Amanda at Harris Teeter, grocery shopping. I was buying coffee and frozen dinners, my diet, for the past 6 weeks. She was in the produce section standing in front of the apples, staring like she couldn't remember what she came for. She looked terrible. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, wearing sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. Hair unwashed, pulled into a messy bun. Dark circles under her eyes, so pronounced they looked like bruises. She saw me. Froze. Eyes went wide, filled with tears instantly. For 5 seconds, we just stared at each other across a display of organic bananas. Then she abandoned her cart, just left it in the middle of the aisle, and practically ran toward the exit. Stumbled, caught herself, kept going, out the automatic doors into the parking lot. Gone. I stood there, holding a bag of coffee beans, watching the space where she'd been. The woman next to me, elderly, loading tomatoes into her basket, shook her head. Poor thing looked terrified, she said. I didn't respond. What could I say? Yeah, I did that. I made my wife terrified of me. That night I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed replaying Amanda's face, the fear, the brokenness. She'd betrayed me, stolen from me, planned to leave me. She deserved consequences. But did she deserve that? Did she deserve to be so destroyed she ran from a grocery store? I downloaded the ring footage from New Year's Eve, watched it again, felt the rage again, the betrayal, the humiliation. She'd done this. She'd cheated, lied, stolen. This was her fault. But I'd planned her destruction, methodically, coldly. I'd coordinated with Catherine. I'd made a video. I'd humiliated her in front of 200 people. I'd contacted her family. I'd ensured she lost everything. Job, friends, family, future. She deserved to be exposed. But did she deserve to be annihilated? I called Sharon at 2:00 a.m., knowing she wouldn't answer. Left a voicemail. Did I go too far? She called back at 9:02 a.m. the next morning. That's not a legal question, Christopher. That's something you'll have to answer yourself. But I will say this. You did nothing illegal. You told the truth. If the truth destroyed her, that's because of what she did, not what you revealed. It was a good answer. Professional. Correct. It didn't help. Catherine called me February 15th. We'd been texting occasionally, but hadn't talked on the phone since the dinner. How are you holding up? I don't know. How are you? Same. Bradley's a mess, lost everything, broke, miserable, alone, and I don't feel joy about it. I thought I would. I thought his suffering would make me feel better. Does it? No, I just feel tired, sad that it came to this. Yeah. Do you regret it? I thought about that. Really thought. I don't know. I regret that she cheated. I regret becoming someone who could plan that level of destruction so calmly. But I don't regret exposing the truth. That's about where I am, too. She sighed. We should get coffee sometime. Not to plan revenge, just to talk. Two people who understand what it's like. Yeah, I'd like that. Christopher? Yeah. We did what we needed to do to survive. Now we have to survive the aftermath. After we hung up, I sat in my living room, my house, empty and quiet and full of ghosts, and thought about who I'd become. The nice guy would have walked away, filed for divorce, moved on, healed quietly. But the nice guy was dead. I'd killed him somewhere between New Year's Eve and January 25th. In his place was someone capable of systematic destruction. Someone who'd looked at his wife's affair and decided that exposure wasn't enough. She needed to be ruined. I got my revenge. Amanda and Bradley lost everything. Their careers, their families, their futures. Mission accomplished. So why did it feel like I'd lost something too? Something I couldn't name and couldn't get back. Maybe that was the cost. Maybe revenge doesn't heal you, it just levels the playing field. Everyone loses. You just get to choose how much. I finally understood what people meant when they said revenge was a hollow victory. Because sitting there in my big empty house, divorce finalized, enemies destroyed, justice served, I didn't feel victorious. I felt alone. The depression hit hard in late February. I went through the motions, taught 4th grade, graded papers, answered parent emails, came home, microwaved dinner, stared at the TV without watching, went to bed at midnight, stared at the ceiling until 3, slept fitfully until 6, repeated. I lost 15 pounds in a month. Colleagues noticed. Principal Marcia pulled me aside after a staff meeting. Christopher, you're one of our best teachers, but you're not okay. I don't know what's going on, but please get help. I'm fine. You're not, and I care about you too much to let you pretend otherwise. She handed me a list of therapists covered by our insurance. I took it to be polite, put it in my desk drawer. Kyle came over 3 days later. Let himself in with the spare key I'd given him years ago. Found me on the couch at 2 p.m. on a Saturday. Unshowered, still in pajamas, surrounded by empty takeout containers. Dude, come on. I'm fine. You're not fine. You look like shit. When's the last time you ate real food? I don't know. When's the last time you showered? I didn't answer. Kyle sat down next to me. I'm worried about you, man. This isn't just post-divorce blues. This is something else. I destroyed 2 people's lives. They deserved it. Did they? Amanda had a panic attack. She's broke, living in someone's spare room. Her family disowned her. She's on antidepressants and seeing a therapist twice a week. Because she cheated and stole from you. And I made it 1,000 times worse. Kyle was quiet for a minute. You're feeling guilty. I don't know what I'm feeling. Okay. Well, here's what we're going to do. You're going to shower. Then we're going to get lunch at that taco place you like. Then you're going to call one of these therapists and make an appointment. Kyle, I'm not asking, dude. I'm telling you, you need help, professional help. This is above my pay grade. So I showered. We got tacos. I didn't taste them, but I ate. And on Monday morning, I called Dr. Elena Martinez and scheduled an intake appointment. First session, I was defensive. I'm fine. They hurt me, I responded. End of story. Dr. Martinez, mid-40s, kind eyes, voice that didn't push, said, Okay, but you're here. So some part of you knows that's not the full truth. They deserved what happened. Maybe. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about you. How are you sleeping? Fine. How much? 3-4 hours. Appetite? Fine. Are you eating? Sometimes. Christopher, I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to help you. But I can't help if you won't be honest with me. Something broke, just cracked open, and I told her everything. The affair, the ring footage, the planning, the awards dinner, the fallout. Amanda's panic attack, Bradley's DUI, the grocery store, the insomnia, the weight loss, the emptiness. When I finished, Dr. Martinez said, You're grieving 2 losses, your marriage and who you used to be. I don't want to be who I used to be. That guy was weak. That guy was kind. That guy got destroyed. And the guy who replaced him, is he happy? I didn't answer. Couldn't. Christopher, you can acknowledge that they hurt you terribly and deserved consequences, while also acknowledging that what you did changed you in ways that scare you. Both things can be true. I kept going. Weekly sessions. Sometimes twice a week when it got bad. We talked about Amanda, about my mom leaving, about being the nice guy my whole life, about what it meant to become someone else. Dr. Martinez never told me I was right or wrong. She just helped me see the patterns, the way I'd always avoided conflict, the way being betrayed shattered, not just my marriage but my entire identity. The way revenge had given me back control but cost me something I couldn't quite name. Teaching became my refuge. The classroom was the only place I felt normal. Kids didn't know about my drama. They just knew Mr. Bennett, who helped with math problems and read aloud at story time and made them laugh with silly voices during vocabulary lessons. One day in March, a student named Lily noticed me staring out the window during recess duty. Mr. Bennett, are you okay? You seem sad lately. I'm working through some tough stuff, but I will be. Thanks for asking, Lily. My mom says when you're sad, you have to be patient with yourself. Simple wisdom from a 9-year-old. It hit harder than anything an adult had said. Your mom sounds smart. She is. She says everybody has hard times, but it gets better if you're patient. I hope she's right. She usually is. That conversation stuck with me, reminded me that I was still capable of connecting with people, still capable of something other than calculation and revenge. Dr. Martinez suggested a divorce recovery support group in April. I resisted at first. Sitting in a church basement with strangers talking about feelings sounded like my nightmare, but I went. 8 people. Ages ranging from 30s to 60s. All of us there because our marriages had ended and we were drowning. I listened to their stories. Infidelity, abandonment, financial abuse, midlife crises, dead bedrooms growing apart, all the ways love dies. When it was my turn, I gave the edited version. Caught my wife cheating with her boss. Exposed them publicly. Maybe went overboard. A man named David, early 60s, gray beard, kind face, said, "You did what you needed to do to survive. Now you have to survive the aftermath." It was the most accurate thing anyone had said to me. I started going weekly. Didn't say much, just listened. Realized my situation wasn't unique. Betrayal was common, rage was common, the desire for revenge was common. What varied was how people handled it. Some had walked away quietly and regretted it. Some had fought ugly divorces and regretted it. Some had tried reconciliation and regretted it. Everyone had regrets. That seemed universal. Catherine and I started meeting monthly for coffee. Late April, then May. Then it became a regular thing. Not romantic. Neither of us wanted that. Just platonic friendship between two people who understood what the other had been through. Bradley's working at a Honda dealership, she told me in May. Hates it. Drinks every night. His apartment is depressing. The kids still won't see him without supervision. Do you feel bad? Sometimes. Then I remember he did this to himself. To us. To our kids. Yeah. How's Amanda? Working at Target. Living in someone's spare room. I haven't seen her since the grocery store. Good. Is it good? Catherine stirred her coffee. I don't know anymore. I wanted Bradley to hurt. He does. And I don't feel joy. Just tired. Yeah. Would you do it again? I thought about that. I think so. But I wish I didn't have to. That's about where I am. I'd do it again because the alternative was letting them get away with it. But I wish none of it had happened at all. We sat in silence for a while. Two people who'd won but didn't feel like winners. Small improvements came slowly. I started running in May, 3 miles a day, helped with insomnia. Started accepting social invitations again. Kyle's Memorial Day BBQ. Trivia night with teacher friends. A colleague's housewarming party. I still wasn't dating. The thought of trusting someone again felt impossible. But I was laughing occasionally. Feeling moments of something that wasn't quite happiness but wasn't despair either. I redecorated the house in June, removed Amanda's touches, repainted the bedroom, replaced furniture, made it mine. Sold the office desk, too many bad memories, and bought a new one from IKEA. Packed away photos, donated her abandoned clothes to Goodwill. The house started feeling less like a crime scene and more like home. Mid-June, a mutual friend texted me. Thought you should know, Amanda's moving to Asheville. Fresh start. I felt relief. She was leaving Charlotte. Less chance of running into her. Less weight of her presence in the same city. Through the grapevine, I heard she'd found work at an environmental nonprofit. Lower pay, $42,000, but meaningful work, according to Jenna, who heard it from someone who heard it from Amanda. She was dating someone new, an accountant, divorced dad of 1, taking it slow. Bradley remarried in July. His new wife was 26, worked at the car dealership, clearly a rebound. Catherine heard about it and laughed. That'll last 6 months. I didn't care. Their lives were no longer my concern. That realization felt like progress. By summer, I could go whole days without thinking about Amanda. Whole weeks without replaying New Year's Eve. The rage was gone, replaced by something quieter. Not forgiveness exactly, but maybe acceptance. I'd been betrayed. I'd planned revenge. I'd executed it perfectly. People got hurt. Some of them deserved it. And now I had to live with who I'd become in the process. Dr. Martinez called it integration. You're not the old Christopher. You're not the revenge Christopher either. You're whoever comes next, and that's okay. What if whoever comes next isn't a good person? Are you being kind to your students? Yes. Are you showing up for your friends? Trying to. Are you doing the work in therapy? Yes. Then you're still a good person, Christopher. Just one who's learned he's also capable of darkness. That doesn't make you a monster. It makes you human. I wanted to believe her. Some days I did. December 31st, 2025. 1 year since everything imploded. Kyle invited me to a house party, casual, 10 people. No formal countdown, just friends hanging out, drinking beer, playing board games, treating it like any other Saturday. I almost didn't go. New Year's Eve carried weight now. Bad associations. But I went. Around 11:30, someone mentioned the time. "Oh, it's almost midnight. Should we do a toast or something?" Sure, why not? No countdown, no ceremony. Just Kyle raising his beer at 12:02. We'd missed actual midnight while arguing about Settlers of Catan rules and saying, "Happy New Year, everyone." Everyone clinked bottles, set it back, kept playing. I realized I hadn't dreaded this date, hadn't obsessed about it for weeks, hadn't spent the evening replaying last year. Progress. I drove home at 1:30, sober. I was designated driver, unlocked my front door, stood in the entryway of my house, dark and quiet and mine. Pulled out my phone, opened the Ring app, looked at the office camera. Empty desk, moonlight through the window, peaceful. I scrolled back to saved footage, found December 31st, 2024, 11:48 p.m. The video that had started everything. Stared at the thumbnail. Then I deleted it. Permanently. From the cloud. From backup. From my Dropbox. Gone. I didn't need it anymore. The divorce was final. The evidence had served its purpose. Keeping it felt like keeping a wound open. Texted Elena, the school librarian I'd been talking to for the past month. We'd gotten coffee twice. She was kind, funny, divorced too, understood the baggage. We were taking it slow. Me. "Happy New Year. Coffee this week?" She replied within a minute. Elena. "Yes, and maybe dinner after." I smiled. Genuine, small, real, me. "Yeah, I'd like that." Set my phone down, went to bed, slept through the night for the first time in a year. People ask me if I regret what I did. Honest answer? I don't know. I regret the affair happened. I regret becoming someone who could plan that level of destruction so calmly. But I don't regret exposing the truth. Amanda messaged me in October, sent an apology email to my school address since I'd blocked everything else. "Chris, I know you won't respond, but I need to say this. I'm sorry for everything. The affair, the lies, the money, all of it. I was selfish and cruel, and I destroyed something good. You didn't deserve any of it. I hope you found peace. I'm working on finding mine. Amanda." I read it 3 times. Then I archived it. Didn't respond. Not because I was angry. I'm just done. That chapter is closed. Where are we now? Amanda's still in Asheville, working at the nonprofit, dating the accountant, seeing her therapist. Her brother reached out to her in August. Slow reconciliation. Her parents haven't, might never. She's on medication for anxiety and depression. Working on herself, according to mutual friends. I hope she succeeds. Not for me, for her. Bradley's still selling cars in Charlotte. Still married to the 26-year-old, though Catherine heard they're fighting constantly. Joint custody with his kids every other weekend. They're in therapy, relationship strained but improving slightly. He gained 40 pounds, looks older than 41. Not happy but surviving. Catherine got promoted to partner at her law firm. Kids are doing well, adjusted faster than expected. She's dating casually. No rush to remarry. We still meet for coffee every month or two. Real friendship. Both of us acknowledge our revenge bond, but we've moved past it. Me? Still teaching. Got promoted to 5th grade team lead. Small raise. Still in therapy. Down to every other week now. House. Feels like home again. Started dating Elena. Taking it very slow. Coffee dates, lunch, one dinner. She knows my story. Doesn't judge. Says everyone has baggage. Mine is just particularly well organized. I haven't forgotten what happened. Probably never will. But I'm no longer defined by it. The nice guy who married Amanda died on New Year's Eve, 2024. The question I'm still asking, what do I do with who's left. Maybe there's no clean answer. Maybe you can be betrayed, choose revenge, hurt people who hurt you, and still have to live with all of it. Maybe that's just being human. Messy, complicated, capable of both kindness and cruelty. I teach fourth graders about empathy every day, and every day I remember that I'm capable of the opposite. That knowledge doesn't make me a hypocrite. It makes me careful. Last week, a student asked why I always say be kind to each other during morning meeting. Because kindness matters, Jackson. It's important. But what if someone's mean to you first? Then you have choices. You can be mean back, or you can walk away, or you can stand up for yourself without being cruel. The hard part is figuring out which choice you can live with after. Jackson thought about that. Which one do you pick? Depends on the day. He nodded like that made sense. Kids are smart like that. I don't know if I'm a good person anymore. I don't know if revenge was justice or just revenge. But I know this. I survived. I'm still here. And some days that's enough. The nice guy finished last. The guy who replaced him, still figuring out where he's going. But at least he's moving forward. And the rearview mirror is finally starting to blur.